It was Halloween night, and my group of friends and I were feeling adventurous. We had heard rumors of an abandoned cabin deep in the woods that was said to be haunted, and we couldn't resist the temptation to explore it. With flashlights in hand, we set out on our eerie adventure. The moon hung low in the sky, casting an eerie glow over the dense forest. As we navigated through the twisted branches and rustling leaves, an unsettling feeling crept over us. But the thrill of the unknown pushed us forward. As we approached the cabin, we noticed that it looked eerily well preserved for something supposedly abandoned. Its windows were boarded up, and a lingering sense of foreboding filled the air. Undeterred, we cautiously made our way inside, the creaking floorboards echoing through the silence. Inside, we discovered a dimly lit room with symbols and strange markings covering the walls. The remnants of a ritual circle were etched into the wooden floor, and a flickering candle illuminated the space. As we nervously explored, we heard faint whispers and distant chanting coming from the depths of the cabin. Our curiosity was piqued, and against our better judgment, we followed the eerie sounds. Peering through a cracked door, we were met with a horrifying sight. A group of cloaked figures surrounded a cauldron, their faces hidden by dark hoods. The air crackled with an unsettling energy as they chanted incantations that sent shivers down our spines. We realized that we had stumbled upon a coven of witches, and the disturbing rituals they were performing made our hearts race with fear. We knew we had to leave, but fear rooted us to the spot, rendering us incapable of moving. One of the witches turned, her piercing gaze locking onto us through the crack in the door. Panic surged through our veins as she raised a finger to her lips, signaling for silence. We withdrew, desperate to escape the clutches of the sinister coven. As we stealthily made our way back to the entrance, our minds raced with thoughts of what they might do if they caught us. The woods outside the cabin felt more ominous now, and the shadows seemed to dance menacingly. We tried to remain as quiet as possible, but the floorboards betrayed us with every step. Our hearts pounded in our chests, and beads of sweat formed on our brows as we inched closer to freedom. Suddenly, a sharp crack echoed through the cabin as one of us accidentally knocked over a rusty lantern. Panic surged through us as we froze, knowing the sound could give away our position. But instead of the witches rushing to capture us, their chanting intensified, and the cabin seemed to tremble with dark energy. The ground beneath us shook, and a gust of wind swirled around us, trapping us inside. Terrified, we realized that the witch's magic had ensnared us, and escape seemed impossible. The ritual had taken a malevolent turn, and we were now at the mercy of the dark forces at play. With trembling hands, I whispered to my friends, urging them to find a way out. We searched for any hidden passages or secret exits, but the cabin seemed to be closing in around us, suffocating us with its darkness. Time felt like it was stretching, each second an eternity as we struggled to find a way out. The witch's chanting grew louder, and the energy in the room crackled with intensity. It was as if the very walls of the cabin were alive with malevolence. In a last-ditch effort, we huddled together, clutching onto each other for support. We closed our eyes and focused on the thought of escape, desperate to break free from the sinister spell that held us captive. Suddenly, a bright light enveloped us, cutting through the darkness like a beacon of hope. We opened our eyes to find a shimmering portal materializing before us. With no time to hesitate, we stepped through the portal, unsure of where it would lead us. As we emerged on the other side, we found ourselves back in the woods, far from the haunted cabin. The moon still hung low in the sky, but the woods felt different now, as if the malevolent presence had dissipated. Relief washed over us as we realized we were safe, no longer trapped in the clutches of the sinister coven. We had narrowly escaped the dark magic that lurked within the abandoned cabin. Our Halloween night adventure had turned into a night of terror we would never forget. The encounter with the coven of witches had left us shaken, but it had also taught us a valuable lesson. Some mysteries are better left unsolved, and some places are best avoided, especially on Halloween night. As we made our way back home, we couldn't help but feel a lingering sense of unease. The memory of the sinister coven would stay with us, a haunting reminder of the chilling Halloween night we had spent in the woods. And from that day on, we vowed never to venture near the haunted cabin again, for we had witnessed the dark magic that lay hidden within its walls. Now before I begin reading the next story, I wish you a very happy Halloween. It'll be a delight if you could support my work by subscribing to the channel and leaving a like on this video. On Halloween night, my group of friends and I decided to partake in an ancient and forbidden ritual that we had discovered hidden within the depths of the internet. We were drawn to the allure of gaining magical powers, and the thrill of conducting a secret midnight ceremony in the heart of the dark woods heightened our excitement. As we ventured deep into the forest, the towering trees seemed to whisper warnings, their branches swaying ominously in the chilling breeze. The moon cast an eerie glow on our path, and the night air was thick with anticipation. We had all agreed to keep our intentions hidden from anyone else, believing the secret to be our source of power. The clearing we arrived at felt sacred, an otherworldly space shielded from prying eyes. We formed a circle and lit candles, their soft glow illuminating our faces as we began to chant ancient words we had found online. The forest seemed to fall silent, as if the very earth held its breath. As we concluded the ritual, a sense of empowerment washed over us, filling us with a tingling energy. But as quickly as the feeling came, a deep sense of unease crept into our hearts. The woods around us seemed to change, twisting and contorting with every passing moment. Shadows danced among the trees, and the moon's light played tricks on our eyes. I thought it was just the adrenaline and excitement, but as we made our way back home, disturbing hallucinations began to torment us. We saw strange figures lurking in the corners of our vision, only to disappear when we turned to face them. The woods seemed to follow us, its haunting presence lingering even after we had left. The next day, the hallucinations continued, and we couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. We began to experience disturbing visions, flashbacks of past traumas, and nightmarish scenarios that seemed all too real. We tried to convince ourselves that it was just our imagination playing tricks on us, but the unease in our hearts persisted. As days turned into weeks, we realized that our lives had been forever altered by that fateful Halloween night. The once tight-knit group of friends started to drift apart as the burden of our secret weighed heavily on each of us. I was plagued by visions of my worst fears coming to life, each one more horrifying than the last. I would see myself falling into an endless abyss, unable to escape the suffocating darkness. The line between reality and delusion blurred, and I found myself questioning my own sanity. When we finally gathered to discuss our shared experiences, it became apparent that we were all suffering from the consequences of meddling with dangerous magic. Our search for power had led us down a path we couldn't undo, and we were paying the price for our foolishness. The woods had become a place of dread, a reminder of the night we had foolishly played with forces beyond our understanding. We knew we had to confront our mistakes and find a way to reverse the effects of the ritual. We sought the guidance of a wise old woman rumored to possess knowledge of ancient rituals and magic. She listened intently as we recounted our harrowing experiences, her face etched with concern. With a solemn expression, she warned us of the danger we had unleashed and explained that the magic we had toyed with was far more powerful than we could comprehend. The hallucinations and visions were a manifestation of our guilt and fear, a punishment for our arrogance. The old woman guided us through a cleansing ritual, urging us to confront our fears and let go of our desire for power. It was a painful process, but as we faced our darkest thoughts, we felt a sense of release and relief. As time passed, the hallucinations and visions began to fade, and the haunting presence of the woods lifted. We had learned a valuable lesson: true power comes from within, and it cannot be gained through dark rituals and forbidden magic. In the aftermath of our ordeal, we became closer than ever, united by a shared experience that had forever changed us. We vowed never to speak of that Halloween night again, and to use our newfound wisdom to help others avoid the same mistakes. Halloween night now held a different meaning for us. It was a reminder of the darkness that lurked in the world, but also a celebration of the light that can be found within ourselves and in the bonds we share with others. The woods still called to us, but we knew better than to venture into its depths again. Instead, we chose to embrace the magic of Halloween in a different way, by celebrating the spirit of the season with laughter, camaraderie, and a newfound respect for the power of the unknown. It was Halloween night, and a group of friends, myself included, decided to gather at the old cemetery on the outskirts of town for a spooky adventure. Excitement hung heavy in the air as we made our way through the crumbling tombstones, our flashlights cutting through the darkness like beacons of hope. We had all heard the rumors and legends surrounding the cemetery, tales of an ancient witch spirit that supposedly haunted the grounds, seeking revenge for past wrongs. But we brushed them off as mere stories to heighten the Halloween atmosphere. After all, we were just looking for some harmless fun. Once we reached the center of the cemetery, we gathered in a circle and lit candles, forming a makeshift seance. The atmosphere crackled with anticipation as we held hands and began to chant, calling upon the spirits of the past to join us. At first, nothing seemed to happen, and we laughed nervously, dismissing the seance as a silly prank. But suddenly, a gust of wind swept through the cemetery, extinguishing the candles. The air grew cold, and a sense of foreboding settled over us like a heavy fog. As we tried to relight the candles, a low, guttural growl echoed through the night. Panic gripped our hearts as we realized that something was terribly wrong. We attempted to leave the cemetery, but an invisible force seemed to hold us back, trapping us within its grasp. With a shiver down my spine, I saw a flicker of movement in the shadows, a figure cloaked in darkness, standing at the edge of our circle. My friends gasped in horror as the figure emerged from the gloom, revealing a twisted face contorted with rage. The ancient witch spirit had been awakened, and she was not the benign ghost we had imagined. Her eyes glowed with an otherworldly light, and her tattered robes billowed around her like a sinister shroud. We were now face to face with a malevolent force we could not comprehend. She spoke in a chilling voice that seemed to echo from beyond the grave, recounting the injustices done to her by those who had wronged her in the past. The accusations sent shivers down our spines, and we realized that our naive seance had summoned something far more dangerous than we could have ever imagined. As the witch spirit advanced towards us, a sense of dread filled the air. We knew we had to act fast if we were to escape her wrath. Thinking quickly, I remembered stories of old charms that could banish malevolent spirits. I called out for my friends to form a circle around me as I began to recite a powerful incantation, passed down through generations. The words felt strange and foreign on my tongue, but I pushed through, channeling all the courage and strength I could muster. The ancient witch spirit seemed to falter, her rage momentarily dampened by the force of the incantation. It was a small victory, but enough to buy us some time. As we continued to recite the incantation, a sudden burst of energy surged through the circle, pushing back against the witch spirit's malevolence. The atmosphere crackled with tension as we battled for control, our hearts pounding in our chests. With a final surge of power, the ancient witch spirit let out an ear-piercing scream and vanished into the night. The cemetery returned to its eerie calm, as if the encounter had been nothing more than a fleeting nightmare. Relief washed over us, but we knew that we had only narrowly escaped the wrath of the vengeful spirit. We vowed never to meddle with forces beyond our understanding again and to respect the sanctity of the ancient cemetery. The experience had changed us all, leaving us with a newfound respect for the power of the unknown. Halloween night would never be the same for us, but we were grateful for the lesson it had taught us. As we made our way back home, the stars above seemed to twinkle with a knowing glimmer. We understood that the ancient witch spirit would always remain a part of the cemetery, and we hoped that she would find peace in the afterlife. From that night on, we shared our story with others, warning them of the dangers of meddling with the supernatural. Halloween would forever be a reminder of the night we faced the ancient witch spirit, a night that taught us the true meaning of fear and the importance of respecting the past. On a cold and eerie Halloween night, my family and I moved into an old mansion tucked away in the outskirts of a small town. The house had a mysterious history that intrigued us. Little did we know that our new home had once belonged to a powerful witch whose presence still lingered within its walls. As we settled in, excitement mixed with trepidation. The mansion held an air of enchantment that drew us in but also left us feeling uneasy. Cobwebs adorned the corners of every room, and the creaking floorboards whispered secrets of the past. In the attic, we stumbled upon a collection of old books, some with faded leather covers and others adorned with strange symbols. The dusty pages revealed ancient spells and rituals, making us wonder about the witch's true powers. As the hours ticked away, we became more engrossed in the history of the mansion. As the clock struck midnight, we decided to explore the basement, hoping to uncover more clues about the witch's past. The air grew colder, and a sense of darkness enveloped us as we descended the creaky stairs. In the dim light, we discovered a hidden chamber filled with eerie artifacts, each more unsettling than the last. Strange symbols adorned the walls, and a circle etched into the floor hinted at rituals performed in the past. Among the artifacts, we found an old, tarnished cauldron, and a shiver ran down my spine. Had the witch used it to concoct her potions and spells? Or had it been a vessel for something more sinister? As we explored further, we stumbled upon a locked room. The door was adorned with peculiar symbols that seemed to pulse with an otherworldly energy. We knew we had to find a way to unlock it, but fear gnawed at the edges of our curiosity. Our quest to learn more about the witch's past intensified as Halloween night continued. We scoured the mansion for hidden passages and clues, discovering more artifacts and symbols that hinted at the witch's dark rituals. Yet, with each revelation, we couldn't shake the feeling that we were being watched. The shadows seemed to dance and shift, and strange noises echoed through the halls. Had the witch's spirit lingered in the house, seeking to protect her secrets? As the night wore on, we found a diary hidden among the books in the attic. Its pages were filled with cryptic writings and unsettling accounts of rituals performed to harness dark energies. The diary belonged to the witch herself, and it revealed her insatiable thirst for power and her willingness to delve into the forbidden. Fear and fascination gripped us as we read the diary's accounts of sacrifices made to gain power, a reminder of the sinister history that lived within our new home. But amidst the dread, we realized that the diary might hold the key to unlocking the secrets of the locked room. Armed with newfound determination, we deciphered the symbols on the door and discovered the incantation to open it. With trembling hands, we chanted the spell, and the door slowly creaked open, revealing a room shrouded in darkness. Inside, we found a ritual circle etched onto the floor, surrounded by candles and mysterious artifacts. The air crackled with energy, and the hair on the back of our necks stood on end. We had stumbled upon the very heart of the witch's power. As we examined the room, we realized that the witch had left behind a powerful spellbook, containing the secrets of her dark magic. With a mix of awe and apprehension, we studied its pages, tempted by the knowledge it held. But the more we read, the more we understood the danger of delving too deep into the witch's legacy. Her power came at a cost, and the spells contained within the book could unleash forces beyond our control. With a heavy heart, we made the decision to leave the room untouched, sealing it away once more. We realized that some secrets were best left buried in the past, and the witch's dark legacy was one of them. As Halloween night came to an end, we retired to our rooms, knowing that we had only scratched the surface of the mansion's secrets. The witch's presence would forever linger in the corners of our new home, a reminder of the darkness that lay within its walls. In the days that followed, we embraced the mystery of the mansion while vowing to respect its history. As we settled into our new life, we couldn't help but wonder if the witch's magic still flowed through the house, watching over its new inhabitants, forever tied to the Halloween night that brought us all together. It was a chilly Halloween night in Hollowbrook, a small town tucked away in the heart of the USA. For as long as anyone could remember, the town had been known for its elaborate Halloween celebrations. However, this year was different. A sense of foreboding lingered in the air, and whispers of strange occurrences began to spread like wildfire. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the town's streets came alive with laughter and costumes, but there was an unease among the townspeople. Shadows seemed to dance in the flickering streetlights, and strange noises echoed through the narrow alleyways. I, along with a few friends, decided to investigate the rumors, drawn by the mystery that had befallen our beloved town. Our adventure began innocently enough, with curiosity guiding our every step. Our first stop was the old library, where local historian Mr. Davis shared eerie tales of a witch's curse that had been passed down through generations. According to legend, a vengeful witch named Agatha had been executed centuries ago by the superstitious townsfolk after she was accused of dark sorcery. Before her demise, she had sworn revenge on the entire town, vowing that her curse would haunt Hollowbrook for all eternity. Initially, we laughed off the stories, dismissing them as old wives' tales. However, as we ventured further into the night, our skepticism wavered. In the town square, we stumbled upon a peculiar collection of jack-o'-lanterns that seemed to flicker with an unnatural glow. Mr. Davis had mentioned that these pumpkins were a symbol of protection against the witch's curse. But instead of feeling reassured, we felt an unshakable sense of dread. As we continued our investigation, we noticed that the townspeople's costumes had taken on a sinister edge. They wore masks resembling creepy witches, and their faces were painted with ominous symbols. It seemed as if the spirit of the witch had possessed the very essence of Halloween. Our next lead led us to the oldest house in Hollowbrook, said to have been Agatha's residence before her demise. The dilapidated structure loomed in the darkness, casting an eerie silhouette against the moonlit sky. As we explored the abandoned dwelling, we stumbled upon a hidden chamber in the basement. Inside, we found an ancient book, its pages filled with arcane symbols and cryptic incantations. Could this be the source of the curse? As we attempted to decipher the mysterious tome, the candles in the chamber flickered wildly, and a chill filled the air. Our nerves were on edge, and every creaking floorboard sent shivers down our spines. Suddenly, the room was engulfed in darkness, and a disembodied voice filled the silence, taunting us with whispers of doom. Fear gnawed at the edges of our resolve, and we felt the weight of the witch's curse bearing down upon us. In a desperate attempt to break the curse, we decided to perform a ritual of our own. We gathered the townspeople in the town square, lit the protective jack-o'-lanterns, and chanted the words of a counter-curse we had discovered in the ancient book. For a moment, the air seemed to crackle with energy, and we held our breaths in anticipation. Had we succeeded in breaking the curse? Just as we began to hope, the ground trembled beneath us, and an eerie green mist enveloped the town square. The witch's curse had returned, stronger than ever before. Our hearts pounded in our chests as we faced the realization that the curse could not be broken so easily. Agatha's vengeful spirit still clung to the town, feeding on fear and despair. In a last-ditch effort, we gathered the townspeople once more, this time to confront the curse head-on. We refused to be cowed by fear and chose to stand together in unity. As we faced the witch's curse, we realized that the key to breaking it was not in magical incantations, but in confronting the darkness within ourselves. We needed to embrace the spirit of Halloween, not as a night of fear, but as a celebration of courage and community. With newfound determination, we banished the witch's curse with the power of unity and laughter. The town square was filled with joyous laughter and the sound of children's delighted screams as they embraced the spirit of Halloween without fear. From that day on, Halloween in Hollowbrook was no longer plagued by mysterious and horrifying events. Instead, it became a celebration of resilience and unity, a night when the town's spirit shone brightly, dispelling the darkness of the past. Though the legend of Agatha the witch remained a part of Hollowbrook's history, it no longer held power over the townspeople. We had learned that the most potent magic was not found in curses or incantations, but in the strength of community and the courage to face our fears together.